Welcome to yet another episode of the Pitboard discussions, and this is the first episode since we went for the summer break. I know it's been long, but we've been here, we are refreshed, we're feeling good. We are fresh off Monza. I'm about to make a name for myself. We're fresh off Monza, and I'm here with the boys from the Pitboard. To my left, the startman himself, Mushiri, and to my right, less troublesome Dan. He's in a mood today, as you can see. Not feeling good. We will know why. We will delve into it in a few. Thank you for joining us. Now, first things first, Monza. That's where we are kicking things off. This is the part where now I just soak in and you play the Italian Ama Fratello d'Italia, the song they sing after Ferrari wins in Monza. This is the part where you...
It's called the what?
Fratello d'Italia.
By the way, I didn't even watch the podium celebration.
But anyway, that's the part you play it.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can pretty well see, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling jovial. I'm energized. My energies are all the way high, sky high. Kila kitu iko sambamba. The reason being, I called it a few weeks back. I talked about this, but you guys were quick to dismiss me. I was here talking about how Ferrari have 2 races they are going to win the rest of the season. They have 2 races, I guarantee you they will win. I talked about Monza, and the other one, would you care to refresh people's memory?
Singapore.
You think you guys are winning in Singapore?
We are winning in Singapore, my friend.
Sure?
Monza, done. I don't know if you guys checked my tweets by the way. I actually uploaded it to the group. Before Monza happened, I had actually tweeted it out. I'm feeling special. I have a special feeling about Monza this year. Something in me. And the fact that we're also bringing upgrades this year.
Your stomach was just bloated.
Nah. There was no bloating going. There was no bloating or whatever going on. It was just a vision. I dreamt it. I saw it. Just the way I saw WCC. But we'll talk that at another time. Anyway.
Not happening.
It will happen. The WCC will come. Talked about the Hamilton one. I hope you guys are keeping score. The Hamilton.
You're only mentioning the ones you got right. We're not mentioning the ones you got wrong.
Do I have any that I got wrong?
Even a broken clock is like twice a day. No, it's like a broken clock mentioning the time it has been right.
Let me be bold enough and say this. The fact that I'm bold enough to actually come with this, outrageous calls. Some of you might think they're outrageous, but the fact that I'm always bold enough to say them out publicly and then they happen, that's why I feel like I have to reiterate and go back to it and actually, stress the point.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay, it's your time, Shine. It's your time.
Yeah, it's my time. Yeah. It's my time. Ferrari have more wins than Red Bull in the past 2 races. I'm enjoying this. I won't lie. When's the last time you guys won?
How many races have you won this season?
No, I'm just asking. No. Genuinely
You're
cherry picking.
Yeah, you're cherry picking.
Yeah. I'm just asking though. When's the last time Red Bull won a race?
I don't remember. Was it Spain?
You guys won in Spain?
Canada? I don't recall. It's been a while, man.
Anyway.
But the last time I had the Dutch anthem, it was at Zandvoort.
It's a good minute. That's a good one. Anyway, so Ferrari fresh off the Monza GP. Now, going into the Monza weekend, we knew a few things had happened. The track had been resurfaced.
Yep.
A new chicanes, I think.
No.
Nope. Same chicanes.
Yeah. Just resurfacing of the track.
Yep.
Anything else going on?
I think some cabs were a bit higher than before.
Oh, I thought
the Ascari chicane.
Yeah.
It was. They did some work with the cabs, so they removed the sausage cabs, and now they made it like a little bit more flat.
Oh, okay. So, and what about the teams? Were there teams coming in with upgrades?
Yeah, of course.
Don't mention my team. Which other teams are coming in with upgrades?
All other teams. Because Monza, it's a low downforce track.
Fact.
So you come with a circuit specific package, and that includes an almost flat rear wing. Some teams, I think they came with a circuit specific beam wing, which is that other wing just under the rear wing. And also there are also teams came with a different front wing for a low downforce track. So, and that has always been tradition at Monza.
track specific.
Yeah.
upgrade.
If you turn
Track
up here with
specific
a high downforce package, hey, my G, you're not overtaking anyone.
Yeah. So this weekend saw also the debut of some rookies, some F1 rookies. This weekend, it also saw the debut of some F1 rookies. I think Kimi Antonelli was in the Mercedes of George Russell in FP1.
Yep.
And he ended up crashing it halfway through the lap.
Halfway or 2/3?
2/3, halfway.
4/5, I can put it that.
Yeah,
The parabolic
he
account.
was at the third sector. He was at the final sector when he was crashing it. And
Did you see the cameraman zoomed at George?
yeah,
Ooh, George was livid.
Yeah.
Oh, blimey.
yeah.
No, I don't think he even dropped a no blimey.
No, it was just some facial expressions. He and Toto.
he was like, okay, Toto alikuwa nayo like somehow the face
The
he
gritting
puts.
of teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
But for Russell alikuwa like shocked to like
Yeah, he was like, are they going to repair it in time?
Yeah.
And things like that. But it was interesting to see. It was good to see. Now, the big one though, Ferrari were bringing in some major upgrades. The first major upgrades for the second time this season. The first batch of upgrades were brought in was it Spain?
Yeah. Well, wait, will you really call it an upgrade? Because that was a downgrade.
there were some major upgrades.
That was an update.
Why would you call it a downgrade though?
Because remember, Ferrari were expecting to move forward.
So you're calling it a downgrade because they regressed in performance?
Yes, they didn't move forward at all.
Well, it was an update to the car,
Yes.
but it was a regression
Yes.
in performance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's not an upgrade. sir.
well said.
Yeah, well said. Now, going into the weekend, I was obviously excited and I was looking forward to it until Q3 happened.
What happened, man?
These guys, we didn't get a top 3 qualification. We had the McLarens were looking super fast. The McLarens were looking super fast. But in the qualification sessions, there's one thing people noticed. The track resurfacing brought up some issues, especially in the department of tire degradation and things like that. The track was chewing up tires at a rate guys were actually not comfortable with. And I remember, was it the front left of the McLaren had a lot of issues. And was it Norris getting into the pit and he was like, yo, my car is giving me some oversteer issues and things like that after Q2. And it was known it was a problem. And I remember Sainz, there's a point he lost control with it. He lost control of his car in Q2. I think Q2 or Q3, I'm not really sure. Q2, Q3, there's a moment he lost control of his car. And it was also due to the same reasons. The track was chewing the tires at a rate they weren't comfortable with. But come race day, that's not exactly what happened. Specifically for Charles Leclerc. Now, Charles Leclerc won the race, yeah? But he won the race on a one-stopper. Now, the past few Monza races, it has been a one-stopper. But this weekend, having seen the data they had gotten from the qualifications and everything, we were expecting a two-stop strategy from all teams.
Oh, really? Okay, me, I saw it the other way.
How did you see?
They were most teams were expecting to do a one-stop. Red Bull started on hards.
Going into the race or qualifying?
Going into the race. Red Bull started on hards, but they
fell off.
They fell off
Yeah.
on around lap 20.
Yeah.
So everybody knew,
Those hards won't last, man.
those hards won't last. So you have to do
A
a
two-stopper.
two-stopper.
Yeah.
Everybody had that plan except Ferrari.
Yeah. I think Ferrari's plan was actually a makeshift plan. It was planned in the race.
Yeah.
It was planned in the race because they were like...
So the one-stopper was the initial plan.
Yeah,
Really?
No. The Charles Leclerc one-stopper wasn't the initial plan. I think that was planned in the race. I could argue that was planned in the race. They saw how he was managing his tires, and they were like, let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. Because I remember by the final third of the race, Leclerc was, I think, 18 seconds ahead of the nearest McLaren. I think that was Norris? Piastri. Oh yeah, the final third of the race, it was Piastri. He was 18 seconds ahead.
By the time Piastri is coming out of the pits.
Yeah, and the data metrics that they were actually putting out, or the numbers that they were actually looking at, they were like, we could actually see this through. If Leclerc maintains his pace, we could actually see this race through. And there was a chance they could actually win it.
Well, it was really close. And of course, I have to give props to Sainz, who I think he slowed down Piastri for almost an entire lap. Otherwise,
Sainz and Stroll?
Sainz and Piastri.
No, Stroll too. I remember.
Stroll Pia.
But you see, Stroll's wasn't intentionally. It wasn't intentional. As in, I want to slow you down so that my teammate can win.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So props to Carlos. But those McLarens were really quick. To me, that was the shocker. Now on the Ferrari upgrades or the updates, I don't think this one race can actually give an indication that those updates were actually an upgrade. Yeah, because in the first stint,
Zandvoort, Charles also did well. I didn't expect him to be
okay.
I didn't expect him to be on the podium, but somehow he did.
He did okay.
Yeah, but you see, they introduced the updates at Monza. They didn't. I'm talking about this recent Monza updates. Yeah. So the reason I'm saying one race is too, as in, there's no enough. We don't have enough data to say that okay, Ferrari have fixed this car and maybe they're going to challenge for wins on other tracks. And the reason I'm saying this is because the first stint at Monza, yes, Charles was quick off the line. He got a position off Norris. He was chasing down Piastri. But a few laps to the end of the stint, the McLarens were on pace and the Ferraris were dropping pace. I don't know if you guys remember that bit.
Yeah, Piastri started pulling away from Charles.
And Norris was also gaining on Charles.
Yeah.
And that's why McLaren decided to pit Norris to undercut Charles.
But I could also argue when Charles was on the hards for the final stint, when Piastri was chasing him, when Piastri was given the team orders to chase Charles, I could argue the different iterations of this SF24. Normally, that McLaren has been a beast of a chasing car because we've seen it chase down Max Verstappen in Austria. We saw him chase down Max Verstappen in Austria. We saw him chase down Lewis Hamilton in Silverstone. And we were seeing him chase down Charles in Monza.
Yeah.
But what McLaren were expecting, the numbers they were expecting, or the laps they were expecting to catch up to Charles, wasn't really the case. Charles' pace was actually higher to some degree.
Than expected.
Than expected from McLaren's end.
No, it wasn't.
I believe it was.
No, it wasn't. And this is what I'm saying, no. I think Charles was given a delta. Because it's mathematically, in hindsight, you can actually say mathematically, that this is, for Charles to win, he had to maintain this time.
It was a 128, I think.
Yes. And for, I think, 120...
It was 128 and some...
I think 128 is too slow. 123 at Monza.
No.
Either 120 or 125.
Just check
Yeah,
it.
I think it's 123, Monza. I could be wrong, though. But Piastri needed to drive flat out to gain time on Charles because he had a tire delta.
Yeah.
And that tire delta was huge. That's a whole pit stop. That's a whole new tire compared to what Charles had.
123.
So, yeah.
123, what?
He was doing 123 in the last 120. Okay, it was varying 123, 3.
Yeah, and he was hella consistent there. Yeah. So Charles just had to ensure and maintain that I'm doing my 123s. Of course, the McLarens, yes, they'll be faster, but also their tires are going to fall off because we saw that in the first stint. Their mediums are falling off. So there was no way that Piastri was just going to go flat out and just gain more time on Charles up to the last lap. Which actually it happened, but he wasn't gaining enough time. He was gaining, I think, 0.8, 0.5. It was fluctuating because remember he had to go through traffic. Sainz was also there in the picture, etc., etc. But I know it doesn't make sense to say this, but if the McLarens had like 2 more laps, Piastri would have gotten that position.
Yeah, that's actually a
Charles was just managing the tire to make sure that he was hitting that delta on point. Wait, I haven't finished. And ensuring that was hitting that delta on point, he was basically he was managing the gap to Piastri. Piastri was way faster, but he was just making sure that he was not making mistakes that would help Piastri gain more time. Charles wasn't locking up, as in he was very smooth on his controls, accelerating out of the 2 chicanes. He wasn't spinning tires.
And also the fact that he had clean air.
Yeah,
clean air
is king.
clean air is king.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys pointed this out, but Charles, his fastest lap, I think it was the last lap.
There's also
Even for signs.
there's
Yeah.
also,
So he was. They were managing the tires because again, you go flat out, you pay the price. Your front left tire will just fall off the cliff.
yeah.
Okay, wait. Speaking of last lap, Stroll pitted to go take the fastest lap, but he missed it. And Alonso took it, but as in he pitted with for fresh tires to take the fastest lap, but he missed it.
Max had it at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Lewis too. Yeah, I think Lewis had a fastest lap at some point.
Yeah.
Anyway, now I wanted to interject you when you were saying you hadn't finished. I wanted to interject you and say it will get to a point where we'll start having these discussions on who are the best drivers on the grid in terms of management, car management, tire management, and things like that. Because the past few races, especially around the time where we were having Catalonia and Silverstone, people are talking about George a lot because remember that one stopper in Spa and things like that. George was at the point of discussion there, and we already know about Hamilton. We know about Max Verstappen too. But I think now it's about time we start talking about Charles Leclerc because this is not the first time this season. Charles Leclerc has been sneaky with his tire management. It's not something that stands out, but if you look at his performance across the year, there's a way he's been managing his tires. He hasn't been making too many mistakes. And do you think it's growth on his part, or do you think it's the car itself that is actually helping him? It's actually complementing his skills. Because remember, last year or 2 years ago, the first iterations of this ground effect Ferrari car, there was a lot to do with tire deg. There was a lot to do with tire deg. But this car, I don't know how to put it. Let me put it like this. Azerbaijan, Charles is starting with the tires he used in Monza.
Bro, it's just one race. It's just one race.
No. You get my point here.
Yeah, I do.
So
That's-
you want
that's how good
to
this
crown
guy is.
him he's the new tire whisperer.
Tire whisperer.
No, I don't want to crown him yet. I'm trying to ask the question here. Have Ferrari really killed off tire deg like that? Have they really solved the tire deg issue like that? Because, these are super sensitive cars. I don't think Formula 1 has had
like he
cars
said, it's
this
really
sensitive.
hard to tell from that one race. The only thing that I can add is there's some improvement since even in Zandvoort, he was able to take care of his tires and finish on the podium.
Yeah.
So there are some improvements. Whether the problem has been fixed or not, we are not sure. But there are improvements.
Take the car back to Barcelona, man.
Can't happen. So anyway, next race up, Baku, Azerbaijan.
Are you calling it? Are you calling a Ferrari win?
We will see. Baku is another circuit that I link in to Monaco to some degree. It's also a street circuit.
Yes, it is.
Has some narrow areas in the race. So I don't
The
really
castle
know.
section.
Yeah,
that's pretty narrow.
I don't really know. But
the Ferraris have been doing well there. Well, come qualifying.
yeah, so
Because I think Charles qualified pole. Is it like the past 2 races or something at Baku?
Baku? Oh, yeah, I don't even remember.
But
But there's one thing that I remember: the Ferrari blowing its guts.
I am stupid.
The turbo failure.
wasn't that in
2022.
Wasn't that in Paul Ricard?
I am stupid.
I'm stupid was Paul Ricard.
No, it was in Baku. He hit
No, there's this Baku scene. Charles, then you just see blue smoke.
Anyway,
Turbo failure.
anyway, after Baku, it's a double header again. Then we go for a 3-week break. After Baku, we have Singapore. And Singapore, yeah? I'm calling it again. Singapore, expect another Ferrari win. Stay tuned.
Are you sure?
Yeah. You want to? We can now start putting wagers because I'm now confident in
These
myself.
McLarens are looking.
My money is on McLaren.
Hey, we are putting wagers on the side on this one. I want to put wagers on this one. Yeah, so we are looking forward to, as Ferrari, we're looking forward to Singapore. And I expect Baku will be okay. I expect Baku to be okay because now it looks like we're racing McLaren on the front. But before we go to Singapore and Monza, I mean, we've already talked about Monza winning and I called it. We've already talked about Singapore and me looking forward to it. But I'd argue Charles Leclerc has had a better year this year than the year he was challenging for the championship.
Okay, when you win in Monaco and you win in Monza,
that's it.
You have to have a good year. You might not win any other race, but if you're for Charles,
Yeah.
like
He's-
like his 2 home races,
Yeah,
if I
he's
may
two
say
home
so.
races, yeah.
If he does that, like that would be probably the best year, unless he repeats it again.
He actually said that this year so far it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winning at home.
Yeah.
And coming
Winning at
from the
Monza.
time he was saying, like, why did you pit me when you knew that you have been undercut?
Yeah.
From there to winning it's like it could be like a movie by itself.
Yeah.
Starting from
I think it's this is the one season. I won't call it. But I think this is that car.
Say it with your chest.
This is the one season where he has to go through something that will actually take him to that other level, because he's been nearly there and fallen off. He's messed it up from the beginning.
I think he's
so
it's
what you're
just a
saying,
Ferrari
he is
that
in
has
his
been
prime.
letting him
Are you
down.
saying he is in his prime?
He's just. I think he is in his prime, but
It's Ferrari
he
that's
isn't at the
letting him
prime.
down.
You know, even if you're in your prime, you need to be at a prime whereby you can actually get results or grind results from a car. I think he isn't there yet, but he's only just a step away. Now, with Ferrari winning in Monza, Mushiri talked about something really interesting. He said Ferrari have a knack of winning legacy races.
Yes. So
get to expound on that.
Ferrari, it seems like when they're beginning the year,
That's the KPI.
on the whiteboard, they say
Performance
they circle. They circle first.
What do we
of all,
need to do
Monza.
to have a good year?
Like you have to allocate resources for updates and research.
Monza.
No, let me create a scene here.
For
Let-
Monza.
Let me create a scene here. So, you know that Godfather music? The Godfather music and the Ferrari guys just walk in the room and now they're planning on their season. They're like, with the cigars and stuff. Looking at the calendar, the first thing they see is Monza. And
We have to win a year.
Whatever
we
it
have
takes.
to win.
Whatever it takes.
Last year, you remember last
Luigi.
year? Make sure it happens.
Fred on the phone.
I don't care about other reasons.
Monza.
and
The Ferrari mafia guys just walk into a room, black suits, black shades like men in black.
And that meeting happened last year.
That's a meeting.
they really do care.
with Fratello d'Italia playing in the background.
I want you to design that car for Monza, Fred.
We have to win in Monza. Because like winning in Monza is like winning a championship for Ferrari.
We don't care about the rest. And you know, they broke a record when they won this year's Monza. They were like the first team to win 20 times on a specific track.
Ooh. Hey, hats off to
That
them.
just shows you how seriously they take Monza.
Yeah.
That's not a small feat.
That shows you how seriously they take Monza. Ferrari might lose every other race,
But Monza.
but
Yeah.
when it comes to Monza, and funny enough, you know Monza is shaped like this.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm doing this.
Monza is actually shaped like this. So it's really interesting to see, and yeah,
Hats off to them, man.
hats off to them. So
And on that same point, even when it comes to work, it's Le Mans. They only care about Le Mans.
50 points.
They only-
50 points.
They only care about the rest of the races.
You're
they don't
25, and just a quick one. The same weekend they won Monza. We had quarter 6 hours, and I know we are not going to do a work episode on this, but we had quarter 6 hours, and guess who won?
The number 83 Ferrari.
Was it Robert Kubica's car?
Yeah.
Robert
Robert
Kubica.
and Arnold Schwartzman.
And Arnold Schwartzman. Yeah, of course.
Is he called? He's called Arnold Schwartzman.
I think so. No, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not really
It's,
sure.
it's the yellow car.
Yeah,
It's the
the
yellow
yellow car.
Ferrari.
Yeah, it's the yellow what?
Ferrari.
Yeah, and now coming in Monday.
How it's a Ferrari win, I don't know.
Yeah. But coming in Monday, pale Maranello, mabendera zilikuwa zimepandishwa design nyingine deadly. Mabendera nyekundu, red flags. You guys talk about red flags. You should have seen Maranello on Monday.
And they won it because Toyota got a penalty.
Yeah.
How did Ferrari win at Le Mans?
Hey, look, easy conspiracy theories zako. We're not doing that today. You're not going to throw shade on that. Now, speaking on standings, do you think, because I talked about Ferrari might win the World Constructors Championship this year, seeing as how Red Bull were actually vulnerable, my opinion, Red Bull were vulnerable from the beginning of the year. I called it early. You talked about how Red Bull will win 24 out of 24 races.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. By race 3,
God damn.
Charles had already got, Sainz had already gotten his appendix removed and came back and took the win away from
God
Max
damn it.
Verstappen. Now, do you see Ferrari going upwards from here? or do you see them having a similar situation to what happened with the Spain upgrades?
Okay. In terms of how they will stack up at the end of the season
Yeah, as a constructors.
as constructors,
Yeah.
I think McLaren are going to take it. I think they're going to take it because they, as much as we are tunawaingilia, I think they will still get points. But number 2, that's where I'm worried. Because me on a Ferrari might take it, might pass Red Bull in terms of constructors. That is what worries me.
Interesting. Well, I won't talk about the drivers' championship because I don't really see Charles or Sainz challenging for the championship. But the constructors seems open to me. I expect McLaren to fumble because they're fumbling a lot. McLaren are in a position whereby they obviously have the best car and both drivers are performing and they should be getting maximum points from each single race. But they're not doing that. I just see, it's only one DNF away from... It's just one bad race. Everybody's one bad race away because the championship is really tight at this point. I know it's more tighter between Red Bull and McLaren than it is McLaren and Ferrari. But I just see they're one bad race away from messing things up.
Wishes. Those are your wishes.
Yeah, those are my wishes. But I still see a red WC. I told you I have my cigar guy on speed dial. I'm recreating that whole thing. Ferrari win the championship. I'm recreating that whole Godfather scene with everything, with the cat also. Everything. The whole 9.
The cat.
Yeah,
There was a cat.
Like you look like this guy.
There was a cat in that Godfather scene.
You disrespect me.
There was a cat.
I don't remember. I'm mixing them up, but I don't know. I think there was a cat. Anyway, CAT. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the championship outlook on Ferrari?
I think they'll secure P3. P1 will, mathematically, it looks like it's going to McLaren. And I think Red Bull will get P2. Ferrari, I'm seeing them getting that P3. Unless they fumble the ball and then they drop to P4. But I don't see them going higher than P3 in the constructors.